I didn't even see
Oh
Kelly
man.
on there.
Well, I know who the
Wait,
next guest
it looks
is.
like our guest is coming.
Yes. Hello.
Hello.
Hey,
Hello, everybody.
what does that
This is
say?
some
Some
guy.
guy? Or
Just some guy. Nobody special.
just some guy? Okay, I gotcha.
Well, I know if I don't say this, my mom is going to beat me up. She is in love with the rats. The rat mounts. Oh my gosh, that's all I hear about. Like, whenever we got there, she was like, look, it's the rat. So they're great. I do love them. They're
Thank you.
awesome.
They're kind of a long-time labor of love. I'm a huge Princess Bride fan, and I've always wanted a Rouse, and I've never seen any of you really make one. So I'm like, I think I can do this. So
Well, he looks awesome.
I'm
Well,
happy with them. I like them. They're fun. My daughter wants one, and she says I stole her idea.
I got to tell you the story on this award. So Tan, I got to see everything, and I said, okay, well, all right, Keith has won an award. Yep, there it is.
That's the
And I
award.
said, he won an award for, and I was trying to read what the award was, right? And it said snowman stick is what they, and then another person wrote snowman on a stick. And I'm like, okay, this has got to be the same thing, unless Keith has just got a bunch of snowmen over there. So, so I head over there, and I'm in search for the stick or the snowman on a stick. And I found it, and I was impressed. I have never seen that product before. And
I didn't get to see it.
Do you got one with you, Keith?
I don't. I'm at work, so it's at home still.
I'll have to look at. Is it on your Facebook or website or anything?
It's on Instagram. I posted the award and the snowman together in the same picture on Instagram.
Okay, I'll have to look then. I'll have
It
to see
is
this.
so cool. If you have a Halloween show or excuse me, like a Christmas show, or you're doing a themed Halloween where you have snow like we did last year, that would go really well in there. It was really cool.
The Krampus haunts, otherwise Steve Hancock will kick my ass for saying it wrong, are a big thing. The winter haunts are getting huge, so I like to build my stuff for outdoors, and that big snowman on a staff, I built a one-off last year for MHC, and it sold to the family who owns Disturbia, Basement of the Dead, and something else. And I forgot about it, and I got a text right around last Halloween, and a buddy of mine was like, hey, he goes, did you make a big snowman staff that's black light and lights up in the dark for Disturbia? I'm like, yeah, they did buy that. He goes, I'm staring at it right now. So I'm like, man, I got to make a mold of something like that and mold a snowman so that I can actually, instead of making a one-off, but still make it where it's outside, because I've got resin eyes, I've got a resin carrot nose I sculpted, I put resin teeth in it. That thing is made to be outdoor in 10-degree weather, 20-degree weather, snowed on, rained on, hang it outside, just so you can use and abuse it and get a ton of years out of it.
So when you were doing all that work and you looked at that final product, did you know that you were going to look down at it and it was going to be an award-winning product and for Expo?
I really don't think many of my stuff really deserves awards. I think Patrick's bat got robbed. I mean, if I was in that line, if I was in one of the secret shopper people, I'd just give it to Patrick's bat all day long. His little Desmodius is freaking awesome, man. It was
one vote behind you. It's so weird you say that, because it was one vote, and it won at HauntCon even.
Yeah, it deserves it. That thing's beautiful, and Doug's paint is awesome. That little guy is so freaking adorable, man.
Well, everybody likes a snowman on a stick.
Evidently, shocking.
And it's so weird. It's always the thing that you will be like, oh, this will be like a niche market thing. It's always something that you don't expect to be like that mind-blowing that everybody is in love with. That's what I've noticed, is that you could love it and you think it's your baby, but everybody else don't care. They could care less. They're going to pick something that you spent 5 minutes on or that somebody else wanted, and then you're like, why are you looking at that? This is over here. So, I mean,
everybody's different.
They are, man. So,
and I don't like to do a lot of popular stuff, so I'll kind of take a left turn when everybody else is doing one thing. I'll just be over here zigzagging, and sometimes it works. I guess sometimes you get an award for zigzagging. Hey.
Yeah. So for people who don't know, who you are and what you do, give a explanation for us.
I've always been a home haunter for 20 plus years. I've always built my own props. Right around 19, I decided to start a YouTube channel where I kind of show people how I make stuff or my process of using stuff. And I was surprised to find there was like so many Halloween people on there. Within like the first couple of months, I found Vic at Monster Misfits. He was doing the same thing DIYs. Oh, and Dave at the Weird Kids Show. There's three of us, and we just, like magnets, we found each other and bounce ideas off each other, and we little messenger, a Facebook Messenger chat that we bounce on. We ping all damn day along with ideas and what we're doing. So we're kind of like a hive mind. And since then, I've been building more props for YouTube and found all the Halloween community like, wow, it's huge, it's massive on YouTube. And I've met so many people and vendors and friends, like, at Fear Expo, like, when I rolled in there to load in, I mean, I know Rob at Resurrect Costumes, Laney and Beth at Drop Dead Design Studios, David Quinn, Vic. You're really in a room full of family and friends, so it's like you can't go wrong. And all these people in the last couple of years, you just kind of find each other and you help each other out at shows and you talk in between. It's like, oh,
Right.
somebody needed a black light, somebody forgot an extension cord. So it's almost like the shows to me are like a family reunion. And then you get to find new people you meet and network with. And like, oh, I saw your stuff, but I don't know you. Or, my neighbors, thank God I faux pod and I brought too much crap for a 10-foot booth. And my neighbor's ghastly garb scooted down 10 feet for me and dug up me 10 more feet. So, thank you to them. I can't thank them enough for my, extra 10 feet. But man, never again. 20 or nothing. Never.
Trust me,
20 or
I know
more.
how you feel. Oh man. So you said you did home haunting. Do you still do that, or how long did you do that for?
I've done home haunting for, man. I remember when I was in an apartment, I haunted my balcony over 25 years.
I
So I
love it.
restore cars full time for my day job. So a lot of my props and stuff bleed over from automotive. I'll, bring in bed liner or fiberglass. A lot of people are afraid to mess with fiberglass. So on my YouTube channel, I'll do, fiberglass. I'll show people how I use it or what you can do with it, for Halloween stuff. Because I really like my stuff to last and be beat on. And, we're in Northwest Indiana, so we have Chicago weather, ice, cold, rain, snow, sleet, in a day. 100-degree days in October, 20-degree nights, frost. So I really like my stuff to be beat on, and like my snowman, he's made to be outside. My fogger snowman, he's made to be outside. I try and just make the most hardcore stuff I can so people can use and abuse it and have it for 15, 20 years.
Right. So I know you sculpt your work. So for example, because you can definitely tell a difference with I'm gonna roll myself into the butts here. I only spend like maybe 6 hours sculpting, and that's like on something like super in detail to me. But I've seen your work. So how long does it take you to do a sculpt? Like, for instance, the rat or the snowman?
I think it's hard because I bounce back and forth. So I use oil clay because I can't stay on a web project if I got to bounce off it for a week because I'm busy and stuff, jobs are taking priority. So I hit it in weird hours. So I'll do 2-3 hours at a time, then I'll stop, then I'll come back to it. Like the snowman, I think I've probably got 10, 12 hours in the snowman head. The rat I started on top of a coyote form that I chopped up and rearranged, and then I sculpted over the top of everything because that clay gets heavy. So I try and use an armature if I can. And I have no fear just buying a taxidermy form and cutting it up to get close and then finish it off in clay. But the rat was a fairly easy sculpt. I think the rat maybe took me like 6-7 hours, something like that. Most of my magnets is where I kind of cut my teeth sculpting in right around beginning of COVID. When they were shutting everything down, I started sculpting just the magnets because I was afraid like the kids for Halloween, parents wouldn't let mom and dads go trick-or-treating or take stuff from the houses because like, well, there's COVID, it could be germs, whatever. So I wanted to we always do huge treat bags for Halloween because I only have like 40 or 50 kids that come to my house. A really small block. A lot of years I'll only have 20 kids. So we do big monster treat bags. Fill them up with like, juice box, can of pop, hot chocolate, microwave popcorn, candy. And then I always do a run of blacklight magnets, and I've got a board that I shine a blacklight on. So every kid, every trick-or-treater that comes to the house, he gets to pick a magnet off the board. So every year when they come back, they can pick another one. And if I make new ones in the meantime, I'll put them up on the board. So it kind of brings the kids back, but it also feeds into them like the next generation. So I want to be the house that they remember when they're growing up and be like, man, we used to go to this house every year, and the guy always had the driveway decked out and the yard decked out, and we got a big bag, and we got to pick a magnet. I've got 6, 8, 10 of these things on my wall. I'm trying to invest in the next generation of kiddos that come around. So, they'll love Halloween as much as we did and look forward to, because I still remember the houses I used to go to as kids. We go to the same damn houses every year. Oh, they're the full-size candy bar house. They're the can of pop house. They're the popcorn ball house. I'm 51 years old. If I go to my old neighborhood, I could drive you to the houses and show you who gave out what on Halloween. I kid you not.
I just got on the end. Like, my generation was like the end of the trick-or-treating house, and it was the trunk or treat. I was just on the end of that generation. I'm so mad about it because now I'm too old. Now I can't. Even if I want to go trick-or-treating, I can't.
My rule is, if you come to my house on Halloween, regardless of age, if you dress up, you get paid at my house. I don't care if you're 50, if you're 500. If you can drag your ass up the driveway and say trick or treat, in costume, you're getting paid. Anybody who shows up and trick or treats with no costume gets a dented, rusty can of beets or split pea soup or something disgusting in a can of, what's that, like salmon eyes, something disgusting. I pick out of the can and I dent it, and I put a Cobwebs and Candlesticks sticker on it, so the fool who shows up with no costume gets a can of dented, rusty peas.
Hey, I don't threaten me because I want one of the magnets. I was just sitting here thinking, I never went to a house that had that much cool stuff.
Well, I figure, again, once the candy is gone, like usually like November 1st, and the kids are in their sugar rush and it wears off, at least they've got something to hang on to for the next couple of years to remind them, hey, and Halloween comes around again, I'm going to go back there and get me another one, So it's just, I just want to invest in the next generation of haunters for, because that's what the people in my old neighborhoods did. They would deck out their houses, and like to this day, I still remember the houses. It's just, once it's in your blood, it's just, it'll always be there. You can't pull it out.
So what would be next? I know, since you've already done, snowman on stick, what would be the next thing that you want to do? Like, what do you have in mind?
I'm right in the middle of like 2 more snowman heads. I know that I want to do a full size body. I want to do a full blown snowman. I mean, I know they're not popular, but the Christmas haunts are really coming on strong. And I know if I ever make it to Transfer, I know they're going to stick my ass in the back by Christmas. So I swear to God, I'm going to have the most awesome Christmas crap to get the Halloween people back there by me. I'm prepared.
I can't remember if it was Dark Hour or Sir Henry's that had them. Or maybe both. I think they might have both. But they had
Alan's got snowmen. Yeah.
They were as tall as me. I'm short. So, that's exciting. Like, they were 5'2". But they looked so angry looking, and they had like the pointy claws and stuff. That would be awesome to see from you, because it's cool for other people to do it, but every artist has their own like spin-off of stuff. So I can't wait to see if you do make a big snowman.
I've got about 15 designs in my head rolling around, and I've got a small snowman that I made just to kind of play with, to kind of test things out. So I definitely, and I just, everybody does pumpkins and scarecrows, which I love too, but I always kind of take a left, like I make a cyclops, nobody else really makes a cyclops. I like them. I love cryptids, I'm a big cryptid guy.
Yes.
So I try not to make, too much popular stuff, because really, if you walk into a row, you see 600 pumpkins, it's just kind of more of the same, unless they really stand out. So I'm always just trying to push the envelope a little bit and be weird and kind of be out there doing my own little thing. If everybody's over here doing this, I'm cool being over here, spinning my wheels, doing something else.
So with the snowman, are you more of a, like, for scary wise, are you more of like the pointy teeth angry snowman, or like Jack Frost? Because I think that movie's terrifying.
I've never seen Jack Frost. I've seen the commercials. but I'm
What?
really kind of drawn to, my automotive shop is in the woods. I work on 10 acres. So I have access to woods, and I'll go out there and spend a couple of days chopping down limbs, looking at stuff, jumping out of the truck on the way up the driveway. Hey, this fell down. I'm going to use this. So I take stuff, I cut it, I dry it. I let my wooden staves, they're dried for a year, 2 years. I've got a whole thing put back. I've got a lot of stuff kind of put away, squirreled away so that it's cured. Because I don't like using green trees or limbs because they're heavy. It takes a long time for the water to wick out. They're heavy. So I got a pretty good selection of like choice wood that I like to use, and I just harvest nature as much as I can. And the rest is all rigid foam or resins, stuff that can be strong and be for outdoors. But snowman wise, yeah, I want to do some full size ones, some big boys. I'm talking maybe like 8-10 feet. So,
That'd be awesome.
I
Nice.
love Pumpkin Rot's work. I'm a huge fan of his work, and the guy does not get enough credit. I love his scarecrows. And he also made Snowman for Krampus. So I looked at his and I'm like, okay, I see where he's going, but I got to be different. So I try not to really stare at anybody else's. I look to nature, like I use antlers for teeth. I use tinfoil for teeth. I have limbs and anything that nature provides, I want to throw in and use. So I've got a bunch of ideas in my head rolling around that I don't think anybody's touched yet. So I think if Pumpkin Rot's got scarecrows, I'm gonna corner snowmen.
That's awesome. Well, I love it. Doug, do you have any questions? I see. I see you already thinking about the 8-foot snowman over there.
I am.
Doug's like, I'm gonna get one.
So this is, you were actually at our very first Fair Expo, weren't you?
No, I
No, you
came
came to it,
last
though.
year as a guest. This is my first year vending. I stuck around last year after the show with the vendors and talked to everybody. And I saw all your people swarming people. It's almost obnoxious. You need help. You need water. It's like, go away, it's
I haven't heard that
this,
take yet.
this year it's literally a privilege to be a vendor at Fear Expo. You have no worries. I had a faux pas with the electric. Somebody swiped the cord, so I had electric back on like in 5 or 10 minutes right before the show started. Jason Towers is freaking awesome. Got to have dinner with him. And then I knew last year just seeing, Vic needed a board cut, and you're like, hey, go grab so and so. He'll cut a board from, like, where the hell are you gonna get a board at in the middle of a convention center? Well, find one. And I said, I got to come back here next year. I got a vend here next year. So this is my first year on the floor as a vendor. And I loved it. I loved spending time with Jordu and seeing Haunt Fam and seeing the Hells of Poppin' was freaking awesome. The magic show was great. Just the entertainment was just off the chain. It was it's exhausting. It was always like, okay, we're vending. Then as soon as it's closed, we got this and we got to eat again. Then there's a circus. Then there's a magic show. And then there's it's like, goddamn, I'm tired, man. Like,
I gotta go to bed at some point.
It's like I gotta get for tomorrow, work the show. I gotta be in shape for that.
Yeah.
So it was awesome. I loved every aspect. I love the class. How the hell can you sit in a room with Jordu Shell for 2 hours for free? I challenge anybody that runs a show anywhere or takes classes anywhere to provide that.
Yeah.
As part of a vendor or a VIP ticket. It's just not going to happen. It was awesome. I loved everything about the show this year. It was amazing to be as a vendor. I'm most definitely coming back next year. I got to walk around, do a little video for YouTube. A lot of people, the Carpetbagger came through and some other people came through. And I thought, well, it's so busy. It's hard to get out to see the floor. Like Tayan says, it's like I didn't get to see much because you're kind of like a dog tied on the porch when you're running your booth. Like, man, I want to go over there and play. I want to go see what that is. So I did a video and walked around before the show when it's quiet. You can kind of see everything and it's calm. And I was really, really happy with Scurry Face. I couldn't figure out who the hell that was. The SF. I'm like, who is that? Who is that? It dawned on me after I came out of the little blacklight room. And they had a big banner of Pandora. So I just want to say thank you to Scurry Face. I'm glad that you acknowledged her. And I was glad to see her there. Being represented in your booth right there in the front in the corner. So thank you to Scurry Face. Huge shout out to them. And that was awesome. That really made my whole convention experience great. That was really like the cherry on everything, seeing her face.
That's awesome.
So something just to throw out there.
Mhm.
First year, we did the vendor appreciation on Wednesday. I had 9 vendors who showed up, and my staff. There was way more of my staff than there was vendors, right? And it was like our Wednesday at Moonlight Barbecue. Were you there the first year, Tan?
No.
No, I don't think you were.
No, because I think we went a separate night after because I think we discovered it and we were like, oh, what's this place? So I don't think we went the first year.
So the first year, 9 vendors went. I know I think Patrick was there and so on and so forth. But it was almost, instead of vendors appreciation, it was appreciation to my staff, because I always took my staff on Wednesday night, for helping with setup and everything. Year 2 comes by, and we had about 18 vendors show up with all of their
Wow.
workers. I said, bring all of your workers, everyone come. We're gonna buy you dinner. We're gonna just appreciate the fact that you're in the industry. And that year it started catching up to my staff. I had half staff, half vendors. This year, the vendors blew away my staff, and I brought more people. I've never seen so many people in on Wednesday as we had this year. The show floor was almost set up on Wednesday.
Yeah.
There was a lot when I got there.
For a Friday afternoon show. And I kept asking everyone, I was like, hey, what brought you in early? Well, we're doing a bigger booth. We're doing this. And then over and over, plus you're feeding us tonight, aren't you? Come on out.
Get that meal.
So
you're like, I guess so.
next year, I think we might have to take that entire restaurant over. I might have to book that Wednesday and just rent the restaurant for those hours, because the way it's been growing, people are coming in on Wednesday and they want some Moonlight Barbecue.
You may have to cater and have a bro over to the arena.
Oh no, we got to go there. We got to go there.
Oh man.
Well,
thank you for coming on.
That they go hungry at Fair Expo, so we're gonna have to help him say as we won.
That's true. The burgers were great. I love the burger bar. Those were awesome.
I didn't go to it.
Oh man, I missed breakfast because I have breakfast at the hotel, so I figure I'll save it for somebody else.
Okay. Well,
perfect.
I thank you for coming on, and I know you have a YouTube channel and all that, so please go ahead and put all of your info for us.
You can find me on YouTube. Everything's Cobwebs and Candlesticks. I have a little Etsy shop. I load up occasionally with stuff. Most people just hit me on Facebook or Instagram when they see something they want, or they know I'm finished with something. Yeah, that's basically it. I have a website, cobwebsandcandlesticks.com. Haven't updated it in a couple of years. I need to get with my web designer, James, and add on all the new stuff I've been doing the last couple of years. And thinking about opening up that cart system so I can sell online versus just Etsy, because Etsy is okay, but it's just someplace I do it more just to show people what I'm making versus sales, because I still have a day job, so I don't really rely on anything or income from my whole Cobwebs gig. So yeah, for the most part, you can find me on any social media. Just type in Cobwebs and Candlesticks, and this face will pop up.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for coming on. I appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for all you do for Fear Expo, Doug. It has to be exhausting being in your seat, running and making all the ends meet for that show. But it was amazing, and like I said, I was thrilled as a vendor, and I'll be back next year for sure.
Well, we appreciate having you and all the other vendors there. The way we look at it is we just want to treat you like we would want to be treated. And if that's going to work, then I think we're going to have a very successful show for a very long time.
I hope so.
Yeah. Well, great. So we will hopefully see you on here really, really soon, maybe over the summer, or,
Sure.
Halloween season, we'll get you back on here.
Sounds great.
All right. Well, take care. We will.
Good night, everybody.
Take care. Oh, you popped back on. I think someone.
There we go.
Yep, someone double clicked. Oh, wow. So I heard the little alarm that said it's time for you to go to bed.
Yeah, my Alexa's yelling at me.
I cannot believe
She does it. Every show, man. Every single time. She screams at me. I don't know why she's so loud.